Recently, a Delhi court sentenced a 70-year-old man 1 year in prison and fined him 10,000 rupees for an acid attack on a dog, causing it to lose an eye. The court emphasized that such cruelty to animals is a grave offense and must be met with strict punishment to uphold societal values. The court gave an insightful statement that life is as dear to a mute creature as it is to any human. A human being is expected to remember that his action towards animals reflects humanity. It is our responsibility to be compassionate and kind to animals. My dear brothers and sisters, this speaks profoundly about the ethical treatment of animals and the inherent value of all life. This perspective aligns with many philosophical and spiritual traditions, including those found in the Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, and other ancient Indian texts. Reflecting on this quote through these lenses offers a rich tapestry of understanding about the interconnectedness of all living beings and the moral imperatives that guide our interactions with them. The Bhagavad Gita is 700-verse Hindu scripture that is part of the Indian epic Mahabharata, emphasizes the universality of dharma and the interconnectedness of all beings. It teaches that every living creature has a soul and thus a right to live harmoniously in the world. In chapter 12 of the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Sri Krishna speaks about the qualities of a true devotee, including compassion towards all living beings. He says, "One who is not envious but is a kind friend to all living entities, who does not think himself as a proprietor and who is free from false ego, is very dear to me." This verse underscores that a person who exhibits compassion and kindness to all living entities, including animals, is considered virtuous and dear to the divine. It reflects the belief that recognizing the sanctity of all life is central to spiritual advancement. The Bhagavad Gita implies that true devotion and righteousness involve extending empathy and compassion beyond humans to include all creatures. The Upanishads, ancient Indian texts that form the philosophical basis of Hinduism, also provide profound insights into the nature of life and the ethical treatment of animals. They emphasize the concept of Brahman, the ultimate reality that pervades everything, including all living beings. The Chandogya Upanishad states, "As a man acts, so does he become. He becomes righteous through righteousness and wicked through wickedness." This idea suggests that our actions toward others, including animals, shape our own moral and spiritual state. If we act with cruelty or indifference toward animals, we not only harm them but also degrade our own humanity. Conversely, treating animals with compassion enhances our spiritual purity and aligns with the divine essence that connects all life. Furthermore, the Taittiriya Upanishad speaks of the principle of ahimsa, which is central to the ethical treatment of all living beings. There is no higher truth than this: all that exists is in essence the self. All that exists is the same self. This verse reinforces the idea that all living beings share a common essence. Recognizing this unity implies that harming another being is equivalent to harming oneself. Therefore, treating animals with kindness is not just a moral duty but an acknowledgement of our shared existence. In addition to Hindu texts, our philosophical and spiritual traditions also reflect on the ethical treatment of animals. For instance, Jainism, a religion originating in India, places a strong emphasis on non-violence and compassion towards all living beings. Jain scriptures advocate for the protection of animals and the environment, stressing that causing harm to any creature creates negative karma that affects one's spiritual journey. Buddhism, another influential tradition in Asia, teaches the principle of compassion and mindfulness towards all living beings. The Buddha's teachings emphasize that all creatures experience suffering and that compassion is essential for alleviating this suffering. The Dhammapada, a collection of sayings of the Buddha, states, "All beings fear violence. All beings fear death. Putting oneself in the place of another, one should not kill or cause to kill." This teaching encourages empathy and the recognition that all beings, regardless of their form, share the same fundamental desire to live without suffering. The ethical implications of treating animals with compassion, as reflected in these spiritual texts, are profound. The quote in question highlights that our treatment of animals is a reflection of our own humanity. It suggests that recognizing the inherent value of all life is not only a moral responsibility but also a spiritual practice that aligns with higher truths. By embracing compassion towards animals, we align ourselves with the principles of ahimsa and empathy that are central to many spiritual traditions. This alignment fosters a more harmonious and just society where the well-being of all creatures is considered. Moreover, the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, and other traditions remind us that our actions have broader consequences. The ethical treatment of animals is not merely about avoiding cruelty but also about cultivating virtues that contribute to spiritual growth and societal harmony. The quote, "Life is as dear to a mute creature as it is to any human," resonates deeply with the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, and other spiritual traditions. These texts emphasize that compassion towards all living beings reflects our true humanity and aligns with the universal principle of righteousness and interconnectedness. By acting with kindness and empathy towards animals, we honor the shared essence of all life and contribute to a more equitable and compassionate world. As we strive for inclusive growth and social equity, it is essential to remember that the ethical treatment of animals is a fundamental aspect of our collective journey toward a just and harmonious society. I hope you learn. Hare Krishna.